Welcome, everybody. Simon Rosenberg from Hopium Chronicles. We have our sixth in our series of interviews with intrepid candidates working to flip the House in highly competitive districts where we've got a great shot of winning. And today with us is Laura Gillen, who's running in New York 4, right? Did I get that right, Laura? Okay. And, she is a highly regarded candidate. I mean, just the buzz about this race in the family is very high. Laura, thank you for doing this. And really, our audience, the goal here is tell us about the race, tell us about the district, how's it going, what's resonating with voters. Just give us an update on your progress.
Sure. Well, first of all, Simon, thank you so much for including me in this series. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the Hopium family. Already, some of you have already supported the campaign. I'm so grateful for that. And so grateful for your investment and your engagement in all of these races, which are critical in determining what kind of America we're going to live in 2025. So thank you to all of you. So I am running in New York 4. This is a district that's on Long Island. It's the South Shore of Nassau County, and it's an incredibly beautifully diverse district, both in terms of ethnic diversity, also socioeconomic diversity. And it's a district where I have spent the majority of my life. My Italian immigrant grandfather came to settle in this district with his family as a young man. He wound up, with little English and little higher education. He wound up getting a job in the town of Hempstead, which is the township that comprises the majority of this district. And he got a job as a sanitation worker. One interesting thing that'll give you a little hint of the flavor of Nassau County is that way back then, I guess it was the 40s, when he went to apply for his job, he was told you can't even fill out an application until you and your wife register as Republicans. And that's the only way you can be eligible for a job in the town of Hempstead. I always say that my grandmother went to her grave a Republican and still mad about it because she just was taken away her choice. So again, deep roots in this district. I went to Georgetown undergrad, worked on the Hill for Senator Breaux while I was in Georgetown. Wound up going to India to work for Mother Teresa in Calcutta for a little while after college, and then came back, went to law school, practiced law in Manhattan, had 2 children while I was there, wound up moving back into the district on Long Island out of Manhattan and joined a law firm out here, had 2 more kids while I was there. And then finally just got so fed up with the local corruption in Nassau County local government that I decided, stop complaining, do something. And I wound up running for town of Hempstead supervisor and became the first Democrat in 112 years to win that race. And so in my family, we saw upward mobility in 2 generations, from the immigrant on the back of the garbage truck to the CEO of the town sitting in the corner office. And that upward mobility is the American dream. It's what all of us want. And it's slipping away from a lot of Americans now as we see the greater stratification of wealth. And that's part of the reason why I'm running. I want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot to get ahead, that we're not leaving behind our veterans, that we're not leaving behind our elderly by cutting their Social Security and throwing them into dire poverty, and that we're giving young people a chance to have an opportunity to get higher education, to achieve the American dream, to get a house, to build, to have a family, and to be able to afford in communities like my county in Nassau County, which are getting increasingly more expensive. So that's part of why I'm running and what I'm about and who I am. The district.
That was pretty good, by the way.
Oh, good.
No, you have a very compelling story. And I just realized as you were talking that I definitely have cousins and relatives in your district. I hadn't thought about it.
Excellent.
And my own family's journey is very similar to yours, and we had Irish, Catholic, German, Protestant, and Jewish grandparents, lots of immigrants. It's the New York story, right? It's such a classic New York story. And my great-grandfather was actually a garbage man in Ukraine before he came to the United States, and was so we have lots of similarities, but it's a great story. And so thank you for that. And I'm voting for you after that.
Thank you.
That was great. So tell us about the race. How's it going? I mean, we just got these great finance reports from the DCCC. Our candidates are outraising. Republicans, very encouraging second quarter reports. I mean, give us an update on the race itself.
Sure. So this is either the bluest or the second bluest district in the entire country that's temporarily, I like to say, held by a Republican. It is a seat that we absolutely can win back. We put together the team. I got in this race really early this cycle to make sure that I had the runway to raise the resources that I need to win the race and to put together the team that I need to get out, knock the doors, and make sure Democrats come out to vote. If Democrats come out to vote and we flip a few people in the middle, we're definitely taking the seat back. So, so thank you, because your engagement will help us achieve that goal. We have outraised my opponent for the last 2 quarters. Last quarter, we raised $1.9 million in 3 months. We came into 2024 with him having a $700,000 cash on hand advantage. Not only did we close that, we went ahead of him in Q2. So now we have about $300,000 more cash on hand. However, the Republicans, CLF, have reserved $29 million in TV buys for the New York market. So we cannot take their challenge lightly. And that's why, thank you, all of you. Your contributions really make a difference in terms of making sure that we can communicate our message on TV, on digital, in mailboxes, and not get out communicated by the other side.
Well, and can you talk a little bit about that, just so people understand? I mean, a lot of the races we're supporting are in California and New York. And, those are very expensive races, right? Can you just talk a little bit about how the strategy of how you communicate when you're in this massive media market where if you buy broadcast, right, you're reaching, 5% of the district, or 5% of the money goes to your district, the rest goes to other people. How do you run a race like that? I think it's important for our folks to understand, it's why this money matters, but it's also why the ability for you to have early money so you can build the grassroots side is really important too in races like this.
Absolutely. Money makes a difference in a race. Quite honestly, if I had more money last cycle, I'd be in Congress right now and I'd be a frontliner, not a red to blue candidate. Because we can't make a choice in a race like this to choose, oh, we'll only do digital because broadcast is too expensive, or we'll only do mail. We have to do all 3. We have to communicate on all 3 of those platforms, and we have to communicate on the doors. But luckily, because we've been working so hard and working with Leader Jeffries on this race, we have an incredibly aggressive media plan, and we have an incredibly aggressive field plan. I think last week we were either the number 1 or number 2 highest door knock campaigns, congressional campaigns in the whole country.
Awesome.
You in New York, you got to help us keep up. We got to keep
Yeah.
up those stats. So we would love for you to come and knock some doors. We're just a train ride away. And so that's how we're going to win. I mean, we're going to be on the doors, making sure we get every Democrat or every person who actually cares about not living under Project 2025 out to vote, because I do think that the merits are on our side in this election, and the noise coming from the other side can be drowned out as long as we're effectively communicating to people. But it is incredibly expensive. Like, we're going up. We plan to go up earlier than we had originally planned. My opponent is abusing the franking privilege and sending out what are masking as government mailers, but is really campaign mail. He's been sending them out nonstop. So we need to get out in mail and up on TV and on digital quite soon. So that's why your donations are so critical, because we got to pay for this from now until November.
Yeah, and I just, as somebody who's been doing this for a long time, I do think going up a little bit earlier, even in smaller buys, is important, because you just start moving into a different rhythm in the campaign earlier, and you also start to get amazing feedback from people. I mean, it's going to be, that when you go up, it changes everything on the ground, right? And so I think, even if it's at a smaller buy level, I think sometimes we wait too long in our family. I mean, this is an area, as you know, of enormous debate. But I think that once you go up, then you can say to donors, we're up, if you give us more money, we can put more ads up on the air. It just changes. And it's also just, you're fighting, right? Like, you're in the game and you're punching and you're doing your thing. And so I think it's smart to go up a little bit earlier than you had planned. I think you'll be happy with that decision.
Yes, you're speaking my language, Simon.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of being the first one out.
Yeah.
The first shot across the bow.
Yeah, no, I agree. Tell us about how you think our new nominee, our new candidate, has changed your race. I mean, is there, You think it's going to be different? I mean, is there are Democrats more, are you feeling more
I
energy
am
on the ground?
feeling it. I am feeling it. There is tremendous energy. I think there was a lot of concern and empathy for President Biden. I think with the change at the top of the ticket now, people are like so energized. We had 2 office openings this weekend. On Saturday, we had over 70 people there, and on Sunday, we had 110 people just at a little office opening. And those people were getting clipboards and out on doors right after that. And there's joy. I feel like Democrats haven't felt joy in a long time, but there's a lot of joy. Like, oh my gosh, this is great. We have a great, strong candidate, and the message is on our side. You know, the prosecutor versus the felon.
Yeah.
The younger new torch being passed to the 80-year-old, you know, malcontent is the best
Yeah.
thing you could probably say about him. And I live in an incredibly diverse district, as I mentioned earlier. So I think the enthusiasm among our more diverse areas of the district will be great. You know, I was at a meeting and people were like, will they ever pick Kamala? Will they pick a woman of color, a person of color? And like, yes, we can, and yes, we will, and we're going to get her there. So I think, and I was at a barbecue last night. A local Democratic club had a little barbecue, and people were so excited. There really was palpable energy there. So I
Well,
think,
and we're starting to get data. I mean, it's going to take a while for the public to kind of absorb the enormity of what's happened over the last few days, which has been wild. I mean, not many candidates like you have had to run under such, volatile circumstances, right? But there is early data showing that she is performing far better with younger people and younger people of color and people of color than the president was, and that is going to create its own like powerful new dynamic. I mean, even her new video today with Beyonce's music in it had such a different vibe, right? And we're entering a different phase in the campaign, and I do think I think the candidates in New York and California, which are so critical to us flipping the House, are all getting an extra boost now because of this, and it really has changed fundamentally. I think changed the race for the House, and it's in a very advantageous way to us. I mean, that's my initial sense. We'll see how it goes. As you are knocking on doors and talking to people, what are the issues other than this stuff we just discussed? What are the traditional issues you think that are popping the most, that people are bringing up the most in your conversations?
yeah, I think people are very concerned about cost of living issues. They're worried about the cost of healthcare. I hear about that a lot, not just from young people who are just graduating from college and getting jobs. And even if they're getting a plan through the Affordable Care Act, it's eating up most of their salary. I hear about from their parents who have said, I don't know when my kid is ever going to be able to move out of my house between student loans and the cost of healthcare. I'm not sure that this basement is ever going to be empty. So I think cost of living issues are very much top of mind. Reproductive freedom is top of mind because I think in New York, perhaps in California, there's a certain like, oh, we're safe, we're in a blue state. But as we've seen the agenda, the MAGA agenda unfold over this past Congress, people realize, oh, wait, they're not kidding. And even if they say they won't do a national abortion bill, we know that's what they want to do. Look who they just nominated as their vice presidential candidate. And they're all falling in line, and they will fall in line with that agenda 100%. So I think more people are concerned and fired up in bluer states about preserving reproductive health care, access to IVF. I mean, it's insane that we even have to talk about like access to contraception, but that's where we are, folks. That's where
But
we are.
how about that the JD Vance is coming after no fault divorce, and that there's actual video of him saying that women should stay in marriages where they're getting beaten up in order for the good of the children. I mean, this level of extremism on these issues is so profound, and JD Vance has has magnified that tremendously. I agree with you. I'm shocked at that Trump picked Vance, and I think it was in districts like yours, it was a huge mistake and a gift to you in this election.
It's crazy. I mean, I remember when my daughter was younger, my daughter who's now just graduated college, I gave her the Handmaid's Tale book to read. And she's like, it's so weird. This would never happen, but that's where they want to take us. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not even a joke. But again, so I do feel one thing I want to add about the change at the top of the ticket is just a little, there's a commentator who I can't identify, but he often is a pundit on local races here on Long Island. And he said, this is pure gold for you. Very happy about that.
Laura, listen, you sound you're a great candidate. You did a great job today. I'm really excited about this race. I mean, it's just there is this new energy in the election, and it's coming at a critical time for all of you who are running in these house races, these expensive house races, right? This little extra boost is going to make a huge difference for you because you do need the doors. I mean, the thing is to compensate for the expense of the market, right? You need people out door knocking. And you saw the campaigns announce that they've had over 100,000 people sign up to be volunteers since Sunday. That's a crazy number, right? And my guess is it's going to be like 250,000, within a few days. I mean, just based on the velocity of all this. So, listen, thank you. I'm really excited about this race. You seem like a great candidate, and I'm really excited to bring you to the Hopium community. And any final parting words before we go?
Yes, well, thank you so much. Again, thanks to everybody who's already supported. If you are interested in donating or volunteering, you can go to lauragillen.com. That's my website. You can sign up right on there and donate right there. Also, please follow me on social media. It's Laura A. Gillen at X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please give me a follow as well. Thanks so much.
And make sure your campaign sends us your media as it comes out, because I'll be sharing that with everybody. And listen, everybody, thank you so much for what you've done. I mean, the fundraising we've done for these 12 candidates has so far exceeded my expectations. I know many of you are working on these campaigns as well. I mean, we have a chat where all of you are talking about the work that you're doing on the campaigns. It's been amazing to see the postcarding, the canvassing, the phone calling that all of you are doing, the sharing of one of the things we'll be doing much more in the coming months now that media is coming. It's much more important to share these videos and these things so people can see our candidates in the flesh, because they're great. And we've got a strong and powerful message and a powerful leader at the top of the ticket. And the critical thing is all this work we're doing, I feel very confident now, or I feel very optimistic that we can win the presidency, keep the Senate, flip the House, and go out and kick MAGA's ass with all of you this November. Thanks, everybody, so much. Laura, good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.